Hello, welcome to Unprocessed with
Joey.
and Katie. And what we do on this podcast, we're going to try to do, if we can keep it together enough.
Yeah, if we can keep it together.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to do that.
Yeah, is we're going to try to just be raw and just talk about things as they occur in our minds, which is a lot of things, and I just take you along for the ride. And for me, unprocessed means you don't understand it yet. You have to figure it out still.
Yeah.
The process of filtering out your perceptions of the truth, or just something that you happened and you haven't even thought about it sometimes.
Yeah,
you just put it in the back of your head and wait, I can't deal with that right now.
Right.
But what do you think unprocessed
What I
is?
think unprocessed means, like I said before, well, when I was
You guys
talking
weren't
to you,
here.
yeah, you guys weren't here. When I was talking to you earlier, it just, to me, kind of means unfinished. But then do we ever get to the actual finish line? Or unprocessed also means that you're never fully processed anyway. Nobody is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Just that prisoners, the prisoner gets processed.
Well,
Prisoner, when you go into prison, we're going to process the inmate.
We're going to process you.
Yeah, so that's a good analogy.
Right, not the
unfinished,
my unfinished cake. Hey, the prison sounded worse than the cake.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, Joe said before.
We were having a conversation.
Yeah, about how he was like, yeah, I feel like unprocessed is you make a cake and it's all fucked up because you left out an ingredient. And then you bake it, and
it's flat.
It's never the same ever again, and you can never fix it. And I'm like, whoa, Joe.
Well, no, right. But, right, exactly. It kind of sounded like a dark thing. But, unprocessed to me, I just means, you're never going to be processed. You know what I mean? It's
just,
it just seems like there should be a finish line. But there's not, ever. That's life.
It's called enlightenment. When we go through all of our... cycles through samsara. I don't even know what I believe with that, but it makes sense to me.
Enlightenment.
But, yeah, enlightenment.
Unlightenment?
No, enlightenment. Unlightenment. That's what's happening in society today. Enlightenment. I love it. Oh my God.
Unlightenment.
People getting unlightened. Seriously. I feel
like when your hair gets processed too. I know about hair with, the bleaching and stuff like that, or processed hair.
That's true.
Or overly processed hair. You can over-process things.
Mm-hmm.
Overly processed?
I do all the time.
Or underly processed.
No, I wish I underly processed something. I overly process stuff. Because I always look at things and maybe if I could just think about this from the right angle, it will sit well with me.
Right.
When I think about stuff from my past. And that happens sometimes, though. It's so hard because sometimes it'll actually happen. I'll sit around and think about stuff and be like, oh, and then I'll feel better. So I'm always chasing that.
No, but I saw something the other day that rumination is actually it's a good tool for the mind because it's you're ruminating over a thought that to your mind has to be figured out, and and by ruminating it becomes you tend to figure it out. But I think rumination goes sour or goes south when it's all you do and really has I can ruminate on something and it's not doing anything. Ruminating on my card. I lost my debit card today. And it's been something that's been in my head. It's very distracting. And but me overly ruminating is not going to do anything because what you said, there's nothing you could do about it right now. It's gone, right?
It's an obsession thing.
But you still ruminate over it.
Because you're uncomfortable with it. So you want to think about it enough where you do something in your brain where you're comfortable with it and you can just let go of it.
Yes.
So that's what ruminating
and I
is
can't.
supposed to be. I guess
in this particular situation
can be productive sometimes. I just feel like I'm not a person that it's like a gamble. Sometimes it can be productive, but sometimes it'll be stuck in my head. It depends on what's going on in my life. If I actually have things to do, sometimes I can be okay, but sometimes I'll get stuck on a thought. Usually has to do with a man, and
I hear you, sister.
It just gets in my head, and it's just I just want to be able to
figure it out.
And figure it out, so I can just get this out of my head, get it out of my head. I think I'm maturing though, honestly, and I don't do that as much. I really am. I'm trying. I've been working really hard on myself for the past year and a half, 2 years.
And that's when I met you.
Yeah, and
for the second time.
Yes, we worked at Applebee's together.
Yes,
it was not a good time.
Back in 2017.
Not a good time. Not 2017. Let's not go there.
Yeah. No.
But we were talking about before how, how do you figure out if you're strong or not? If you're a strong person. Right? And do you feel
we were talking
strong?
about this before, yeah.
Yeah, I just said that.
Yeah.
No, just how do you, do you feel strong? For me, I guess what I was thinking about is like, do you feel strong in the moment, you know, or do you have to like look back on it and be like, oh wait, I was really strong in that moment, you know? I think it's both things.
I'm trying to remember the conversation.
No, like,
I am. It was by the train station. I remember that, and I was like, "Yeah, we got to write that down." But I'm like, I kind of don't. What was my issue with it?
No, you're just saying like how people tell you that you're strong.
Oh, yes.
And you're like, am I strong? I remember I was in a situation like, and that really like messed me up, and I was just like being like all emo over it and whatever, like crying. And my sister like said to me, she's like, Katie, you're not a weak person. Like, what are you doing? You know, and that always stuck with me. I'm really not a weak person, and, you know, and also that it was what I was upset about was something that I was supposed to get over, and I was supposed to just like punish myself with it all the time. But I think so much of my strength that I have comes from adversity. Really does. Like I feel like so strong when I'm like standing up to somebody. I'm like, you know, but.
Yeah, but haven't you ever been in a position where, like, you know, you feel so not strong and people will still say you were strong, but you didn't feel that way? So are you strong, or they're just telling you you're strong just to bring you up a little bit? You know what I mean? Like,
I think people just go to that.
Like the people that fight cancer and stuff like that. Sometimes they do fight. They fight and they are strong, but then it takes them over, or it starts taking them over. I'm like, would they have had any difference if they were technically strong or not, or they were just making it through? You know what I mean? Just like everybody does. Right. That's what strength. Right. You know, right.
Especially if you can do it.
Right. Yeah.
But I think that strength. I don't know how you develop strength without going through something. Like, it's like, how do you get like biceps without working them out? You know.
Of course. Yeah.
So it's like it's part of like the benefit of experiencing bad things. You know.
I was like, you know, I should be strong as hell, but I sure as hell don't feel it. I don't feel it.
But sometimes
you know what I mean?
Yeah, fake it till you make
considering what I've been through in life, you know what I mean?
It's just tired. It's like I've been through all this shit so much. Like, you just stop. Like, I know I can get through things.
It almost makes it worse. Like the more experiences, the more traumas that you have, it's like the worse you get inside, the worse response that your brain has to it. You know what I mean? It's just like to freeze or to run away, and those things aren't strong.
Well, you know what I mean? You got to flip it around, because that's what happened for me, especially like recently. I have gotten like so much thrown at me. And, like, I didn't run from it or freeze. I fought it back. And I don't even care if I win or not. Like, I'm going to fight back. You know, you're not going to make me... I'm not going to be, like, swept away or talked down to or made to feel like I did something stupid, so I should just be quiet. Like, I think, for me, being strong, it's kind of like courage, too. It's like, you might not win. Like, you you might lose, or whatever, but it doesn't matter, it's like,
right. You got to try. You got to keep, right.
But it's hard, for people when they've been, like,
you got to do
trauma over I also, that word trauma, I feel like, has been overused and underused. Because it's like, everyone's like, oh, you're trauma. But, like, I think the problem is the word trauma is such a heavy connotation to it. Outside of mental health, just like when people have like a traumatic injury, like it means like their leg got chopped off or something, like, you know?
Yeah.
So, but not every trauma is like your leg getting chopped off in your brain. But by the way, your brain processes physical pain and emotional pain in the exact same way. Your brain, until it like sends it back to the two different locations or whatever, the two different areas, it's the same thing.
Right.
And I think that's something that we're supposed to live in this world where like emotional pain is supposed to be like doesn't matter, and I don't understand that. I'm like, what matters in life more than how you feel?
Yeah.
Like, and how you make other people feel. What else matters? Like, I don't get it. Like, what else matters other than how you feel throughout your life and the experiences you have and how you make other people feel? Like, everything else should be secondary to that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, so I got this house, I got this job, but like, you should be proud of those things that make you feel good. And that's the thing I don't understand about homes. They make people feel crazy. Like, I always said, with my family, when they, they were homeowners, right? And they had a lot of money, but the house kept falling apart. And it just made everything so stressful. And I'm like, how is this like the dream we're supposed to have? And it's like, the big dream is owning a home, an American home. I'm like, this is a nightmare. This is actually a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like owning a home when you don't have like wealth or like you don't have the kind of money for that.
Right.
And just it's still pushed on people, but I think that our values are shifting because they have to.
Yes.
Because the world doesn't have the resources or something. Like it's just not set up for the newer generations to even have that possibility. Especially just like, oh, that's going to happen as long as you don't fuck up. Like, no, like it's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
So obviously, I feel like Generation Z probably even more doesn't want it because they see how miserable we were. Our millennial,
exactly.
You know, like, and we didn't have anything.
Right.
Any millennial parent would tell their kid, like, you shouldn't go to college unless you really want to go to college. Maybe go to a trade
unless
school.
You know what you want and you
but
stick with it.
Who knows what they want when they're 18 years old?
I don't know.
That
was an old time. That was back in the days where like people were having families, and it wasn't really common for people to go to college straight after high school.
And somehow
none of my aunts and uncles did.
No, I think I'm the first person on my
and they were successful
on my dad's side to go to college. Only my dad actually went to college. I don't think he graduated though.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. And people, I don't know. I still have to figure out what were they doing. Obviously, I do it with money. Where they just told us, you just just go to college, pick some stupid ass major like art. And you'll have a giant, and that's not stupid ass. You know what I mean? Like that's meaningful, whatever. Like it's just
that was one of my majors.
Ours, cultural studies. Like actually, that's actually really helpful now.
Yeah.
It actually sounds useful, but it's actually critical theory.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it actually taught me a lot. But when I first was, I was like, I was going to be useless because it was just, I actually taken comparative literature and then I put it together so I could graduate as quick as possible. When I went back to finish my education. After 2017 and all that stuff we're talking about. And, so they said, cultural studies is going to fit the things that you picked. Mm-hmm. And then I learned it used to be called critical theory. Because basically, you just, criticize everything all the time, which is right up my alley.
Yeah.
But it taught me a lot. But the thing is, I'm really lucky I want to get into a field where that might help me. But, I also didn't figure out any of that. I didn't know what I wanted to do as 18. I knew that, and I took a year off. I didn't go to college, and I also had my first boyfriend, so I was like, very obsessed or whatever.
Yeah.
But
when do you not get obsessed over boyfriends? I have though. I do, and any of the boyfriends that I've had, I do, except for the last one. I wasn't as overly obsessed, jealous or anything like that.
Well, I think I've gotten mature. I've matured.
Right. Because this one you handled well. Considering you're the one that chose to leave because you were both unprocessed to the point where it wasn't going to work until certain things, I guess, are processed. Hopefully
things get processed and then they're going to be recombining,
Exactly.
But yeah, I feel like I handled...
Twin flames.
Maybe, actually. Yeah.
Well, that's what they do, right? Yeah. That's what they're supposed to do. You're supposed to go fix yourselves and then come back together.
Yeah, that's literally...
Which could take forever, but then maybe you weren't meant for them in this lifetime. Yeah. But then the next one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some things just really get me about twin flames and spirituality.
Well, I feel like, did you see that crazy documentary about the crazy twin flame people?
Yes.
Yeah. Where they're just making fun of people. They're just like, you're just an idiot. The people calling in, it was crazy.
Yes. Yeah, they would put them down because they would call it mirroring or something. They were like, everything that you were complaining about, everything in your life is just a mirror or something, or anything you have against anybody else is you. You're the cause of all your issues.
That reminds me of AA a lot.
Right.
Yeah, or it's just it's all your
But it
fault.
wasn't as strict. AA is not as. AA is kind of strict. It could be strict, to
I think it's a
certain
gentler
people.
Approach to that kind of thing. It wasn't this is your fault. These people are literally screaming at them. But I think the concept of twin flames is very romantic. It's so I don't know if you don't go in and out throughout history and everything like that. It's really alluring to think about that, especially because it's it helps you with this person that I love that's not here, maybe we'll come back together. It's just such a intriguing thing.
It's the whole letting go thing too.
You have to let go for them to come back.
Yeah, right. But are they going to find somebody else? Are you going to find somebody else? They say you should never wait for your twin flame. So if you have your own life and you do bump into somebody that you actually like, you should pursue them. You know what I mean? And then still have faith that maybe one day you and the other guy will come back together. Or you and the other person, I should say. I
just can't even fathom having the energy. I literally put this on. I'm not married, but I put this on so people leave me alone.
My mom used to do that, yeah.
Yeah, because I've learned the really hard way recently. I can't hang out with guys that are single, that are, they're just, I don't know. I learned the hard way that, I can't be friends with, single straight guys anymore. That was fun. And
see, but you really can't be friends with single straight guys, or is that something he instilled in you?
No, that's what I've been talking to people. It's just duh. Everybody,
Like there might come, like something might come of it.
I just had whatever. I feel like I'm like, this is unprocessed. Just had an incident that where somebody I just would sleep whatever. I didn't want to be with someone in any capacity whatsoever, and they like tried to destroy me. So yeah, I'm not gonna get into it. It's all good. We're gonna figure it out, and you know, we'll just get going. But I feel like this is making me so strong though. Like it's almost like all this stuff that I've been going through. It's like it's like making me want to fight really bad. Like I feel pugilistic, which is like when you want to fight. Pugilistic, not linguistics. But it's Killer Mike. I just want to like fight sometimes. I just want to like. I mean, when I fight, I don't physically fight. I want to like verbally assault somebody.
Yes.
And it's just so many people walking around just being terrible. It's not that hard, you know.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just like. I think too that makes me so upset is like how somehow there's this value, like you're a good person if you just, you know, keep your side of the street clean and that's it.
Right.
Like good for you.
Right.
But I don't think that's not a good person.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, not necessarily a good person, but it's just ways to keep yourself from getting where you used to be, though, thinking that you used to be, like keeping your side of the street clean. As long as your side of the street is clean, you can't like go and judge other people.
I don't think it's about judging. I don't look at it as judging because I don't look at it.
Kind of just stuck that in there somewhere.
It's just like no. It's just like no. I feel like it's like don't worry about anything else that's going on. Okay?
Worry about yourself.
Worry about you doing it for yourself. And I'm like, I don't think it's a virtuous mindset. And I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of this where everybody's like, just don't, just detach yourself from everything. Just focus on yourself.
Right.
And don't worry. You know what? You guys gotta accept that the world is the way it is. You just gotta accept it. You know what? Why?
Radical acceptance?
Yeah, radical acceptance. But if everybody accepts how the world is right now, nothing will ever change. Like, that's why there aren't Nazis ruling everything, because people didn't accept. This is
what I'm saying about some of these terms and some of these.
Yeah, like, I don't want to accept Nazis. Yeah. I don't want to accept, I'm not going to accept things that are terrible. Like, why is that making a good person? All it does is it makes it so that your life's easier. And most people, I'm ranting, like, there's a mindset where it's like, if it does not affect me, it doesn't matter. And when you complain about something, you're like, well, it doesn't affect you, so why do you care? And I'm like, I don't know, because I'm not a horrible, like, malignant piece of shit person. I don't know. Like, I actually care about the world a little bit. I'm like, mm-hmm. I'm kind of a piece of shit person in certain ways. Don't get me wrong.
I think we all are.
Of course we all are. But I feel like, and I've especially, like, been coming up with this. Coming against this in, like, recovery for this, like, past, like, year and a half. Just, like, why... Like, I don't want to accept things. I don't feel like that's what I'm supposed to do on this earth. Is to see something that is dumb and stupid and wrong
and just accept
and
it.
Just be like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Like if there's any way I could fix it or bring a voice to it, like I feel like it makes me more angry than anything when people are just indifference.
Yeah,
and delusion. Like I can't. It just makes me crazy.
Yeah.
Like and I go off. But I have to calm down to like live because there's so many things. But that's why I'm hoping with this new career, I will be, using that energy about wishing people care to actually care about people. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be working in substance abuse, social work field, and I'm really excited.
Yeah. But, yeah, you've been saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that definitely sounds like something. I know my aunt always told me to like get into something like that, so I might. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what the hell I want in life. I really don't. Like, I couldn't really tell you. I mean, this whole thing, doing a podcast and everything could be at least steering in the right direction. But to be honest with you, I've never really known what I want to be. Because I kind of want to be everything, but I don't want to be anything. You know what I mean? I've had so many interests in life, but then when I get into them, I lose interest real fast.
Because you have ADHD.
I know.
Join the club.
But then, like, it'll completely change, though. It's like almost like you get repulsed by the thing that you were just pursuing. You know what I mean? It's just like, what is that? What is it, a dichotomy? That would be like, you know what I mean? Like
you build a resentment towards it because it's not making you as happy as it was, or you have to work harder at it, and it's not as rewarding.
Maybe it's the hard work. Maybe it's the fact that all of a sudden you got into a patch where it wasn't really as pretty as what you thought it would be, but maybe that's when I give up and stop.
I think it's the novelty wears off.
Yeah.
Like there's something called a hedonistic cycle. It's like so true. It's like it's literally like a zoop, like a graph like that. Mm-hmm. So it's like you're sad, then you get like a new thing. You're like, wow, this new thing is making me so happy. But eventually, it doesn't make you happy because it's not new anymore, and it brings you down. And they're like, oh, I need another good thing. And that's your whole life, is that.
Yes.
When you depend on your happiness from outside of yourself.
Right.
So. Lecture.
No, I was thinking that you weren't in the picture too much.
I'm in the picture.
There you go.
The girl's in the picture.
There you go. I think that's good.
I guess the guy's still in the picture is a movie about some Hollywood producer. Nobody cares. It's okay.
About what?
A movie I was just referencing, and I don't even know anything to point out. I'm just like, a movie I know.
Yeah.
The guy stays in the picture. It's a documentary about some famous Hollywood producer. I can't remember the name of. And he just that's whatever. Anyways, so I feel like for me, one of the most difficult things that I had to overcome, or I don't even know if you could word it that way, is like I had no direction for a really long time, and it made me fall deep into instant gratification.
Yes.
And I know for me, like I was thinking recently, like what would be like a meaningful life for you? Like what do you want? You know, and I realized that this is what I want.
Don't ask me that.
I know what it is. Listen, I want it to either be like maybe I write my story and it's told, or like I don't know, or somebody in my obituary or something. I want my life to be described as, and this is mad cheesy and like cliche, as a triumph of the human spirit.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want my life to be. Is that, you know,
right.
It's like a cheesy movie line. Like, it's a triumph. I don't know, it's probably about like Air Bud.
Well, maybe that'll be your book. Maybe that'll be the title of your book.
Hell no.
No?
They'll be called that instead. Hell no. You know, because it reminds you of the name of this. I was thinking that the book.
Yeah, it would be called that plus hell no.
It says David Eggers, I think is how you say his name, had a book called A Heartbreaking Work of Staggering Genius. And it was an autobiography about his mom dying of cancer. Mm-hmm. And so it just would be totally ripping off of his whole vibe. But I was just like, a triumph of the human spirit. I always said it would be called I Am Chemistry.
In your own way, though.
I Am Chemistry would be the name of my autobiography.
I Am Chemistry?
It's a Yaysayer song. And it just reminds me of my whole experience with medications and substances and mental health and all that. It's just like how much are we like our chemicals or our spirit? Like what is it? Like I feel like maybe like your brain is like the interface between like physical world and like spiritual world,
right?
And like we don't understand anything about the brain, and psychiatrists will all tell you that they're being honest. Like when they're giving you medication, they're like, well, this kind of works sometimes with some people about this, boop, and it's like throwing spaghetti at a wall. Someone said that recently. It's just like, we'll see what it does, you know, and it's exhausting, and I feel like so much of it is like a placebo effect, at least with me, and it's just I feel like there's just always something being thrown at you when you're sad. Mm. Like or not sad, but like when you're having a problem or something, like, it's like you have to do X, Y, Z. Let's give you this to solve it, instead of like figuring out like. I feel like it comes from a deeper place than people really realize or like are able to get down to. And I don't think it can be fixed with like medicine sometimes. I mean, it helps. Like I know I'm definitely at more of a baseline. Yeah. With my medication. But it's just very difficult. This is back to the I Am Chemistry. It's just like how much of how I think is influenced by these medicines I'm on or substances or whatever, and how much of it is just like inherently me. And I think life is the combination of the two, like where those two things meet.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I always I don't know. I've tried to study the human brain a little bit. Oh yeah. But I mean, it's pretty complicated. But I'm always really into like neuroscience.
That's really it is interesting.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It is. I'm into Buddhism. I wouldn't call myself a Buddhist because I have a huge problem with them telling me to accept everything all the time and just not be angry and just accept it. You don't know what the other person's thinking. I'm pretty sure another guy is thinking, I want to stab this guy in the head when he's stabbing the guy in the head. Like that's probably what he's thinking. Like, yeah. It's just too passive. Yeah. Like, and it's just like, and that's why, I identify with my Christian side, I was like raised Catholic, and Jesus flipped over those tables. I don't remember that, but that happens is the people were like, he had a temple, it was like this, we just have this temple where we can pray in as Christians, and the Romans are like, all right, whatever. And then these people came in and they started setting up like tables to sell shit in the temple. Mm-hmm. And like, Jesus went nuts, and he like flipped the table over, like, you get out of here. That's what Jesus did, okay? Sometimes you gotta get mad. What did Jesus get mad about? Was it somebody bringing money into his temple? like I'm sorry I'm going off, but you know, like Joel Osteen,
Yes.
it's prosperity gospel.
Mm-hmm.
Like the words prosperity gospel they're like mutually exclusive. Like the gospel is Jesus, right? Everything Jesus ever said about anything was against money.
Yeah,
like he said it 9 million times. Like that's over and over his message. You're supposed to love people, not care about money. How did Jesus die? His friend was like, I'll take some money, and there's Jesus. You know, it's just like the whole thing is about how money. My favorite line is, "It's easier for a camel to fit through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get into heaven." So, like, how are we talking about mega churches? Back then? I suppose they had Joseph's amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. That was in the Old Testament. Yeah. But I think we were talking about values before, and I guess it's kind of making me
values. Yeah. I don't know. I just always seem confused when somebody, like, I know what values means, but I'm like, I always seem confused when, like, you know, even like my therapist will bring up, you know, like, what are your values? What do you hold, you know, true to your heart? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, like, I love friendship. I love family. I like love, respect. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, are those the things that I want in my life? Is that like, I never really knew how to answer it. Just like when somebody asked me, what do you want? What do you want in life, and what do you want to do? Who do you want to be? I don't know.
Want to be a triumph of the human spirit.
I don't know. Yeah, a triumph of the human spirit. Yeah, I guess so.
But what were you saying?
When does the triumph end, though?
You mean when does it come?
It never.
The triumph only happens like over defeat, like, you know,
like enlightenment or something.
No, triumph is when you get over something.
Right.
You know, so it's up to adversity. Like triumph doesn't come from just like having it easy.
But you ever really over everything, I guess? Like, I don't know.
It doesn't have to be everything.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like there's a lot of times in my life where, like, I could have given up in whatever way you want to say that, and I just kept fighting, and I'm going to keep fighting. You know, and in terms of values, like, I don't know. I feel like that's another word that just people say, and they don't even know what it means that you're saying. But for me, it's just like, what's important to you? And for me, the thing that's most important for me, in terms of a value, is honesty, the truth.
Honesty, that's definitely a value. Yeah, definitely
is my number one value. And guess what? That's not how society is at all.
No.
Like, people like to be oblivious. They want to hear what they want to hear, and the media knows that. And I'm not talking. I mean, it's not like conspiracy theory nonsense. Like, they know that we know, but they know that we won't do anything about it because we're too comfortable. You know. That's why I know anarchists are like, yeah. I'm like, okay, you like living in the forest, in the dirt, and doing whatever, and smoking a lot of weed and whatever. Most people don't want to live their life that way. Okay, so while you're cool with the world being overturned, like, most people, they don't want that. It's not that bad for them that they want that to happen. And so it's just like, I feel like almost like embarrassed as a person who's progressive when I see these people just being insane. When I see the people who are like anarchists doing that, or also the people who are like, it's like, Joe Biden really cares. Like, he cares about us.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sure he does, but
right.
You know, what are you gonna do?
I don't know, but they also think that Donald Trump is like Jesus.
That's so amazing to me. Like, that's so amazing to me.
Yeah.
And that whole thing with QAnon and everything, like, people are so insane.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, it's another thing to go off about, but I get why people like Donald Trump.
I mean, I know politics is a little, like, you know, it's a little fuzzy thing to bring up. But,
I make people uncomfortable all the time.
What'd you say?
I make people uncomfortable all the time. Because I like the truth. Like, people, you know, it's just facts. They don't like it.
Right.
But, you know, I just feel like Long Island in particular is a really unique place. And if you're watching from not on Long Island, we live on Long Island. And I feel like obviously Long Island would, like, love Trump. I'm not putting him down or bashing him or lifting him up.
Yeah,
I'm not
but
saying
do
anything.
they? I mean, a lot of people around here do. But
like, in a special way.
Like,
Because he's kind of, like, he really is like a Long Island person, more than even a guy from Manhattan.
Yeah.
He's all bobbed up and everything, and, like, he isn't, like, polished in the same way. He has, like a blue-collar way of talking. Yeah. Of, like, a foreman on, like, a construction site or something.
Yeah.
That is, I find that appealing, personally. And, like, God knows all these people do. You know, so I feel like they are very passionate about him out here, you know. But I don't think they do the Jesus stuff up here with him. They just, do they? I think that's more of like a
I don't
Midwestern
know.
thing.
Yeah, I think
But-
so. I think so. Yeah.
But that's what people value,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Trump.
I swear to God, there's probably people that you ask them, what do you value? Trump.
Right.
Yeah.
But if somebody asks you what are your values, and you say Trump, I'm like, Trump's my values? I'm like, it kind of sounds off. It sounds a little weird.
Trump my values, like, as a verb.
Trump my values.
No. But I think, for me, it's obviously the truth. And it's got me into, like, a lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I feel like right now in my life in particular, I'm having to, like, really just, like, be honest. Like, people are pushing me to lie, and I'm not going to lie. So,
Yeah?
no, I can't lie.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, like, that's like the covenant I have with the universe. Like, things will work out for me if I don't lie.
Yeah.
I think that happens for most people.
I don't like to lie either. I don't. But there are, I mean, I guess little white lies, things like here and there that like people tell. But like, I don't like. I said I'm part of the truth too. But I guess you got to know when to speak it and when to not. I always try to avoid.
Care.
I avoid conflict.
You should really.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I used to be that way more.
Yeah.
But like, I'm gonna get shot or something. I don't know. It's just, the more aggressive someone is about their bullshit, the more I'm gonna come at them.
Yeah.
It's fun. I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah.
People need to be put in their place sometimes. Like I usually people are like bullies.
Yes.
Like, you know, and I will not let a bully be a bully in front of me.
Mm-hmm,
You know, and they're not used to it. They're like, yeah, that's my thing.
Yeah, right. That's everything.
Got that from my friend Christy.
Yeah.
It's like a man being like, whoa, getting their mind blown. Like, you're a woman. So, I guess that's another thing people value is like gender roles and norms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Traditional values. So I mean, Adam's family values, and
Yeah.
how I was not allowed to watch Adam's Family Values as a kid because my mom thought it was creepy and like weird. And I was also not allowed to
Didn't
watch.
she know the Addams Family from her age?
Yeah,
from like
she didn't like it.
her era?
Apparently, we were allowed to watch the Munsters though, because the Munsters was definitely a little more.
Yeah, like I like the
PG or
Monsters, and my
something?
mother always liked those because she said they always felt like the weird ones, the odd ones out on the street.
Mhm.
So it's just like it reminds like of the Munsters and the Addams Family, and I always felt like that about my family too. So, you know.
Well, I liked the Munsters that the grandpa and the son were always just like getting into trouble. That's the only thing I liked about it.
Oh yeah.
But and they were also listen to how old I'm gonna sound right now. Like if there's any boomers listening, I'm about to impress you that the grandpa and the dad from the Munsters were also partners, these cops on Car 54. Where are you?
Yeah.
So like, it was a cool thing that they did. Anyway, so I wasn't allowed to.
And
watch.
those are old shows too.
Yeah, because that's what I had to watch. My dad all the time, and the Andy Griffith Show. Oh my god.
Oh my god,
Get
my
it
mother
out of my
loved
life.
that.
Get it out of my life. Like it's all black and white and like the most boring little oh no. And then MASH would come on.
I didn't like MASH.
I
I was
was-
too little to like it, you know?
MASH,
I was
did
too
not
little
like
to understand
MASH
it.
And Andy Griffith Show, but I loved the Bob Newhart Show. It was my favorite show when I was like 7 years old.
Oh my god.
I'm like, why did I at 7 years old like identify so much with this man who was just like, oh, okay, like. And I also when I was 11, like my spirit animal was Garfield. Like
Oh
I feel like
my
that's
God.
how I didn't kill myself when I was in middle school. Because I just like brought on the aura of Garfield, and I was just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna eat lasagna. Or I'm gonna eat something, and I don't care about anything. And I'd be like, oh Garfield! I had all the Garfield books and everything. I loved him.
Garfield.
I had to turn into Garfield to get through that time in my life.
I liked Woody Woodpecker.
He's a little uppity.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I loved him. He's a little woodpecker.
All woodpeckers, that's what she said. Now we know why you liked him.
I like to peck wood. At times.
It sounds
I haven't pecked any wood in a long time.
Peter Piper pecked a pick of pickled peppers. How many pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick?
5.
Probably more than that. What I was saying was like, so I always, when people want to watch horror movies and stuff, because my mom would not let us watch horror movies because they were, I don't know, I guess honestly, which I think is cool. She's like, this is like demonic weirdness. Like, why am I gonna make my kids watch this? But so I never grew up watching horror movies. So now when I see them, I'm like, really, guys, this is like scary to you? Like, it's just like, okay, I don't know. It's like something I wasn't exposed to as a kid, and I can't get on that level now. And it's like, this is so cheesy. But I know as a Star Wars kid, like a Star Wars fan, huge Star Wars person, that I think it's totally the same thing. Like when someone's like, yeah, I'm 35 years old and I've never seen Star Wars, I'm probably like,
I've never seen Star Wars.
yeah, you're not going to like it.
Yeah.
It's something you have to get into
I
as a
was
kid.
just, and I mean, there was adults that were into it then too, or very young people. And I know people my age and younger do love Star Wars as well. But like, I feel like I was at this weird in between cutoff point. I was born in 1980, so I feel like I was too young to really get the 70s. You know, the 70s one. That's where it started out, right? Like, how many were made?
77,
right?
It's 77, and then I would say 80 and 83.
Like my my cousin's born from like 1970. Like, you know, they were more into it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that I'm gay, and it's just like sports to me. I'm like automatically don't like it because it's like some kind of, you know. But it's a geeky thing too.
Yeah, it's another thing. It's such escapism.
Yeah,
like, that's another thing that helped me through during middle school. I swear to God. I was also obsessed with my Star Wars collection of books. It was Garfield and Star Wars. It was like a whole. It felt like this whole other universe, but it was familiar. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't so much sci-fi. It's like so over the top and like crazy. Especially if you're like reading a sci-fi book. It's called hard sci-fi. That's like Dune.
Yeah.
It's like this whole thing, and they tell you the chemicals behind something. And like video games do that too. And I don't need to know this much information.
Yeah.
You know? And if you want this information to be told to me, like, let's have it in the story. Don't make me read a textbook. I don't know if you play video games, you probably.
Yeah, I did. I mean, you know, like Super Mario Brothers and like, you know, King Kong, Donkey Kong, things like that.
Donkey Kong.
You know,
Donkey Kong Country has like the best soundtrack ever.
Donkey Kong Country?
That was for Super Nintendo.
Oh, really?
Oh my God! And you know what? All the kids these days in their vaporwave music, they keep sampling the underwater Donkey Kong song. Like, I sound like does that sound like Twilight Zone or something? That's what I just sounded like. Yeah, no. It's like, I'm in these underwater, you know, and just swimming around. There's these like swordfish.
Oh, they always have them swimming around in like the old 80s games. They always have like him in like, it's a 90s game?
Yes, Donkey Kong Country, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Listen, you little Gen Xer.
Gen Xer, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm just the ass end of Gen X. 1980. They say X-Lennials? X, what are they called?
I think you're a millennial.
Yeah,
it's so vague anyway.
I'm like, honestly, I don't care. I mean, what's a year? You know, like a year. Somebody of them know in 1981 is that much more different than I am.
We have more in common than how do we have any generational differences between us?
Yeah, but we don't, because you're only 6 years younger than me. So that, in reality, that's like, you know, we just automatically closer together in age, so we automatically are going to have things in common. You know, it doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. Like the whole Gen X, Gen Z, Gen this, like maybe like I can't, like, there's no difference between me and somebody in that born in 81. You know what I mean? But 81 is millennials. And 80 is Gen X. Well, that's what it says. 1965 to 1980.
I bet if you look at some other versions, they'll say something else.
The baby boomers were like what? Like from the 50s, like the 40s? When were the baby boomers when people came back from World War?
Until like 70 or 65.
I think the boomers were before. I think my mother was like the ass end of the boomers. That was 62. So that probably was like late 40s? 58, 57?
That's when it is. I think it's like the 60s and stuff. It's like the hippies are boomers. Isn't that crazy how like the hippies were these people that like are like soulless now, and like, you know, they were hippie, peace and love, everybody's got to do that, and then just like then the 80s came and they're like, fuck that, I want to make money. And then they're like don't care about anything they cared about back then. But I think it's happening to all kids.
People.
Yeah, young
like
people.
When you're young,
know?
When you're late teens, early 20s, you always got a cause to fight for or something.
Well, because you have time to do it.
And you have college and everything, but then you kind of fall out, and then like you don't get anything, you know.
Because you have a job, you have these distractions. You have a job, you have a family,
and,
you know. But like, so it's like kind of like changing the world is supposed to be up to like the young people, but the young people don't even know anything yet.
Yeah.
Like you need to have the old people change the world, but not the 90-year-old white men and the government that are like ruling. Like, it's so weird.
Why is there so much emphasis on young people changing the world? You know what I mean?
Because
like,
everybody gets jaded. Like other people, they give up and they what do you call it? Assimilate.
Mm-hmm.
They they want to have, you know, a career and a wife because that's what they're supposed to do. And I feel like the 80s also had a lot of coke back then. I don't know. But I feel like so many people are just fell into this trap of like, I got to get married and have kids and that's it, you know? And
yeah.
Including me. And
then your values change.
Yeah. But mine didn't. So I was like,
Now
they have.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I just feel like things aren't... Tradition isn't valued. And I don't value tradition. I never have. Because I feel like it's like, it's a, you know, a certain like little tradition, you know, oh, this is our family tradition or whatever, you know, but like, in terms of like, things should be traditional. I'm like, you think that because things are working out for you right now. You know, that's what conservative means. It's just like, things are working out for you right now, so you don't really want them to change at all, even if they're hurting everybody else. You don't care, because they're not you. And, I don't know, just saying, that kind of sucks that everybody feels that way.
Yeah.
But it's like you're kind of forced to, because it's overwhelming to care about everything else and then get the bullshit done.
Right.
But, so we're coming up to a close here, guys.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah. So any final thoughts? Who does this, Maury or Jerry Springer?
What, the final thoughts? I don't think so. Jerry Springer, he died.
Well, he had one final thought. Yeah, he definitely had the final thought. But somebody made that joke. I think we were in, and I was in like some class or something, and someone was like, "Didn't Maury die?" And everyone was like, "Oh my God, Maury died!" And then we had to look it up. I was like, "Maury's not dead."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh my God, Jerry Springer died!"
But you know why we got those mixed up? Because now Maury does like a Jerry Springer type show. You know, like Maury used to be a little bit more classy. Now he does like the whole like,
Maury, I'm sorry.
You know, I know, but yeah, it is fun to watch. But I feel like they act. Yeah, it is. I feel like they push it. You know what I mean?
It's like wrestling.
Like they only exactly.
Like they're kind of doing something, but like, are they really? But so what's your final thought?
On what? On this?
On anything.
I don't know. I don't really have a final thought. I think that we're just gonna, you know, hopefully move on from this point and continue this, and then, you know, talk about a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Unprocessed issues.
Yeah, I'm gonna make people uncomfortable if you want to come back. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, exactly. She's gonna make me uncomfortable.
It's actually fun to watch. But if you guys
she's like Miguel. No.
We're trying to go into Miguel.
Yeah, no. There's a lot of things. You know, definitely I want to talk about more things. You can't really like,
But no.
Is the singer Miguel?
Yeah, some sure thing. I really like it a lot.
Oh yeah?
But so, and if you guys, if anyone's watching, if you want us to talk about anything, let us know, because I'll probably talk about it. And if you're mean to me, I'll probably
want to fight more.
No, I feel bad for you.
Oh, yeah?
I'm sorry. It's like maniacal laughing.
I mean, no, we have a lot to talk about.
Right?
We do. You know,
I'll talk about whatever.
We have a lot of issues that we, you know, both in our own lives that we have to talk about too, you know?
I don't know if they're ready to hear it.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to tell it.
Yeah, you gotta be prepared, guys. This is that kind of stuff where it's like, there's like memes. I feel like people should reference memes more than they do. Like, if you don't reference them in real life, you know, these huge things. But now I remember the meme I was going to say about. So my final thought is that, this is what it was. Look, I remembered that like you're talking to somebody about a funny story, like you're talking like normal people about this funny story with your family,
right?
And they're all like, and you're like laughing, and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? This is hilarious," you know?
Yeah.
If you're one of those people that can do that, you'll like this. If you get really scared by things and you're like, "Oh, it's terrible," you're probably going to be uncomfortable.
I almost thought about something, but I completely forgot about it. No,
this is our final thought. That's perfect. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So, thanks for joining us. Right?
Thank you for joining us.
Yes. And we hope you come back, and we will process some unprocessed stuff, maybe.
Yes.
Let's see. To be continued.
To be continued.
Bye.
Bye.